Yo, what it do, everybody? This is your boy JB Marshall, bringing you another video today. This is going to be an update video slash my first unofficial release of my new series, JP Rants. If y'all don't know what that is, you can watch my last video to hear all about it. Um, the reason why this one's going to be unofficial and listed as episode 0 of the series is because I just wanted to talk about these two particular things that I discovered today, and after doing some research, I want to express my opinion about it. And That's up to the update. Um, JB Rants will officially be a weekly thing every Friday, starting on November the 4th. I believe that's the first Friday of November. So on that very first Friday in November, the very first episode of JB Rants will be released, and at that point, we'll be at the midway season of the NFL. So we're going to be talking about some ups and downs and things that I think about this so far of this football season. So without any further ado, let's get into the other part of this video, and that's two things that I saw today. And the first one I want to talk about is one that intrigued me because it was written by a person that covers Boston sports. And as y'all see, I'm a New England Patriots fan. Been a fan since 2000, and obviously I follow this page for all of my Boston sports news because I'm also a fan of the Boston Celtics. And what intrigued me about this was first of all they were covering it, and second of all it had to do with something that I thought was dead because, as y'all all know, 2 games ago Brady finally came back from his suspension after being suspended the first 4 games of the season after deciding not to fight Roger Goodell any longer in the matters of the DeflateGate. It was an 18-month long battle that probably didn't even need to be taking place, and that could be a whole nother video why I think DeflateGate is BS anyway. But anyway, and the headliner of the report said, "Has DeflateGate ruined Aaron Rodgers?" And what intrigued me about that was because, first of all, obviously it was covered by Boston sports, and Aaron Rodgers plays in Green Bay. That was the first thing. And second of all, it really got me thinking: how could DeflateGate ruin Aaron Rodgers? And the only logical explanation I could come up with for if it ruined him at all, which in my personal opinion, I don't think it did, and I'll get into that in just a second, is that for those who watched the Deflategate as thoroughly as I did during that 18 months, we heard multiple different reports, especially from quarterbacks, about the issue of the Deflategate. We know that we found out that Peyton Manning likes to check his footballs. It likes to check every football before a game, which is actually illegal. I found that out during the Deflategate. Brad Johnson paid the ball boy $10,000 before their Super Bowl win over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I mean, when he was a quarterback of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, excuse me, and they won the Super Bowl. That he paid the ball boy $10,000 to deflate all the footballs to give him an advantage in the game. As y'all know, that was a stout defensive Tampa Bay Buccaneer team led by Warren Sapp, obviously, but not really that great of an offensive team. I mean, Brad Johnson was their quarterback, so that should explain enough, which really didn't shock me. But the one thing that I took, well, the two things actually I took from that was two admissions. First of all is off topic. Jerry Rice admitted that he used stickums for his entire career when he was playing in the NFL, and we regard him as the greatest, not only the greatest wide receiver, but potentially the greatest player in NFL history. So I mean, take that as you want. I mean, obviously the talent was there. Obviously, I Stickums is not going to make your career, but I mean, he admitted to cheating, and it was banned 2 years before he got into the league. And he admitted to using it his entire career, and nobody seems to talk about it. They still consider Jerry Rice the GOAT. I don't see how you can, but you want to criticize and attack Tom Brady on a whole bunch of ifs, a maybes, and what ifs. Nothing concrete on him, but Jerry Rice admits to cheating, and that doesn't even get talked about at all on Sports Center or whatever. So that was one of the things that I took from the months of Deflategate. And the second thing was actually what leads us back to Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers admitted that he likes to overinflate his footballs over the legal limit, close to almost 17 psi, which is significant overinflation of the footballs, and hopes that they get by the referees because he likes to throw a harder ball. And as we know, because of the DeflateGate now, the travel, the way they travel the footballs is completely different now. They're super freaking FBI about it. You know, you can't get to the footballs in any kind of way until the game, and I mean, it's a great thing. So with Aaron Rodgers admitting that his preference of the footballs is to have them heavily inflated, so that way it makes it easier for him to throw a harder ball. Um, it kind of got me thinking for a little bit. Did it ruin his career? And did it ruin him? And my opinion is no. The reason why I say no is because I believe Aaron Rodgers has been getting a pass for years. We've heard all these rumors about how he's, a horrible teammate. You know, he's not that great of a leader. You know, teammates, on the team and previously of the Packers have had problems with him in terms of his arrogance and his personality. And in my personal opinion, you know, I actually wrote this on a rant video today when I was watching some first take topics, and while I would agree that Aaron Rodgers, talent wise, stacked up all in one quarterback, probably is the greatest quarterback that we've ever seen play the game. He's just not the greatest. He hasn't been the best quarterback in the NFL ever, in my opinion. I don't care what anybody has to say. He's never been the best quarterback in the NFL, in my opinion. He's been one of the best. I will admit to that. He's a great player, but he's just not that great of a leader. He could be very hard to get along with. As Greg Jennings, who played for the Green Bay Packers and played with Aaron Rodgers for a long time, can attest to, as we've heard from him over the course of the past week. I mean, in my opinion, he's just not the best. I mean, and the reason why I say that is because, as we all know, Jordy Nelson last year, before the season even started, lost the season due to an ACL injury, and has yet to be back to Jordy Nelson. And we saw that Aaron Rodgers, I was about to say Brett Favre, that Aaron Rodgers had his worst year of his career, and that spoke volumes to me because everybody like to say that, oh, he's a bad man and all this other nonsense. But yet, because you lose one weapon, you have a significant drop off and you have the worst season of your career. That's never happened with Tom Brady or Peyton Manning or Ben Roethlisberger or any of these other great quarterbacks in the league, where they've lost a weapon and it's significantly impacted them to the point where they have the worst year of the worst year of their career. Now, granted, he still had a great season last year, granted, but by Aaron Rodgers standards, these almost ungodly standards that people hold this man to because they think he's the greatest ever, he was just bad. And he has what what was really telling to me is a stat that was talked about Undisputed, how since week 8 of last season, he's dead last in completion percentage, and he's like in the bottom third of eligible quarterbacks in um, yards per attempt and one more, I think, yards per game in terms of what he's throwing for. And what makes it funny is that his QBR is lower than Brian Hoyer of the Chicago Bears, formerly of the Houston Texans last year. His QBR and all that is lower than Brian Hoyer, and if that speaks volumes to me. That's more than, oh, I don't have competent weapons around me, so what do you expect? You still have Randall Cobb, who you made it to a Pro Bowler in 2014. Now he hasn't been the same player since then, but you still have Randall Cobb. You still have Devontae Adams, who's a solid receiver. You still have Richard Rodgers, who has proven to make some key catches sometimes. Not the greatest tight end in the world, but he's still a solid weapon. You still have James Starks, who is a great receiver out of the backfield for you, as we saw during their Super Bowl run so long ago. I believe it's been 6, 7 years now. It's been like Aaron Rodgers has been mediocrity since that Super Bowl win. He's like what? I think he's 3-5 since in the playoffs since then. And when you talk about some of the great quarterbacks of all time, for example, I'm gonna talk about Tom Brady. Tom Brady, with the exception of Randy Moss, has not played with another Hall of Fame caliber wide receiver. he's probably had to work with the least amount of talent out of any quarterback that's bound for the Hall of Fame, maybe in history. But he's turned himself into the greatest quarterback, if not the second greatest quarterback in NFL history, despite not having great talent around him. He's also been able to make up for the fact that he's never had a great running back, with the exception of Corey Dillon in 2004, the back-to-back Super Bowl years. Um, with the exception of Corey Dillon, he's never had a great running back. He's had good running backs since then, but not great ones. Kevin Falk has been a great receiver out of the backfield, but never a rushing running back. Lawrence Maroney had a couple of solid years, but left New England and became nothing, not even in the league anymore. LeGarrette Blount, he's showing that he may be on the cusp of becoming great, but he's good now. He's really good right now. Deion Lewis, he's only had 1 year of showing this great play before he got hurt, so we don't know what he's gonna be like when he comes back from injury. And I could go on. I mean, we saw Fred Taylor 1 year. Friggin', he's never had a great running back. Aaron Rodgers, he has Eddie Lacy, who, because of weight problems last year, really wasn't that great. But if Aaron Rodgers is so great, if Tom Brady can make up for the fact that he doesn't have a run game by the short passing game, and Peyton Manning has been accustomed to doing this too, just not as often because he's always had at least a good running back with him. Dating back to, he had Edgerrin James for a little bit, then Joseph Adai, and then after Joseph Adai, it was kind of downhill in Indy. But then he comes to Denver, and he has C.J. Anderson, Ronnie Hillman, so on and so forth. But he's also been accustomed to being able to use the short passing game to make up as a way to have a running game. And Aaron Rodgers just has not been able to do that. And if he's such a great player, why can't he do that? Why is it that Jordy Nelson goes down and all of a sudden he doesn't know how to complete a pass? You know what I'm saying? Like, I think his completion percentage this year is 56%, I think, which is ridiculous. You cannot be losing Jordy Nelson or not having a fully healthy Jordy Nelson cannot cost you 10% of your completion percentage after that. Like, and he's the complete opposite of the standard quarterback. While you want Tom Brady and Peyton Manning and not necessarily Ben Roethlisberger, but those two in particular, well, while you want them outside the pocket in order to make plays, you want to keep Aaron Rodgers contained in the pocket, which is that when you say that about a quarterback, it's like, huh? How would you want your quarterback to be in the pocket to make plays when that's what they're supposed to do? But yeah, in my opinion, Aaron Rodgers is the reason why he's having a down year the last couple of years is just that he's not as good as people think he is. He had a good run, but now he's not even, maybe not even a top 5 quarterback anymore. He probably still a top 10 quarterback, but probably not top 5 anymore. And I mean, the saying that it's DeflateGate's fault, or it's this, and that. His receivers can't get open, yada yada yada. Like, if he's so great, he should be able to make his receivers get open. You know what I mean? Tom Brady does that. He extends the play long enough so that way, if his receivers aren't open, he can wait long enough and protect himself long enough to be able to get his receivers open, make them have his receivers become open themselves, and then bam, throw it down, bam. Whether it's the Gronk or Edelman or Amendola, whoever it is, you know what I mean. Aaron Rodgers just hasn't done that, and if you can't make up for the fact that, oh, your running back is so fat that he can't run, if you can't make up for that and try to blame that on the fact that you have no running back, talk to Tom Brady. He's never had a great running back, with the exception of Corey Dillon, and he's still made it work. So I'm done with that. Like I said, I got respect for Aaron Rodgers. I respect what he's done, but he's just not as good as what other people think that he is, and the fact that he has all these bad characteristics to make him not a great teammate, I think should just be proof in the pudding that he's just not as good as people think that he is. So I'm gonna stop that for now, and I'm gonna go with the topic 2 actually, which is why I wanted to open with Aaron Rodgers, talk about the Deflategate, which helps lead me better into this issue, and that's how everybody is getting on Tom Brady for his lack of comments per se about his relationship with Donald Trump. And I mean, if let's take a look at what's happened with Tom Brady over the course of the last 2 years, right? You know what I'm saying? Week 4 of the 2014 season, they get destroyed by Kansas City. They're talking about, oh, is Brady done this? Brady done that? Are the Patriots done? Yada, yada, yada. They go on that magical run. They get all the way to the Super Bowl. They win the Super Bowl. Thank you, Pete Carroll, by the way. They win the Super Bowl on a great interception by Malcolm Butler that put him on the map. And, of course, we all know in the AFC Championship game, all the DeflateGate nonsense started. And what people seem to forget is that after the balls were corrected, we routed the Colts 28-0 in the second half of that game to beat them. As everybody says, we could have played with Nerf footballs and we still would have beat them. So I want to hear nothing about how DeflateGate gave us an advantage when it actually was a disadvantage for us. Because once the balls were corrected, we routed them 28-0. Anyway, I digress. So he goes through that. Then he gets suspended for 4 games with the horribleness that was the Wells report. Like, I read that report thoroughly, and it was just absolutely ridiculous. Like, I'm surprised I even finished that report, to be honest with you. It was just so... Like, at 4 months, it gave us no new evidence that we didn't already know before the Wells report was even starting to be an investigation. The only thing they gave us were text messages. And just because I think it was McNally who said, oh, the deflator in one of his texts. Oh, all of a sudden it's a conspiracy to deflate footballs. But even though those texts were a whole year before the AFC Championship game. So basically what they're trying to tell you is that the Patriots were conspiring on that particular day, knowing that they were going to play an AFC Championship game. Oh, we're just going to go ahead and deflate footballs in that particular game in order to give us an advantage over a Colts team that we have been smashing with Andrew Luck at quarterback for his entire career at that point. Why in the world, if Tom Brady likes his football at a specific level, why would he compromise his comfortability with the... Sorry about that. I had to check. I almost dropped my phone. I had to check to see if it was still recording. Anyway, why would he jeopardize his comfortability with the footballs to beat a team that he had already been demolishing since Andrew Luck became the quarterback of the Colts? Like, why? Why would he do that? The answer is he did. He didn't have any knowledge that this was going to happen. I'm not going to deny that it didn't happen, because obviously in some form or fashion they did. But that's on Jim McNally and Yastrzemski, or whatever his first name is. Anyway, those 2 guys. That's on them. That isn't on Brady. So the Wells report, which criticized Brady, but in terms of the team, exonerated them of any wrongdoing. Not only did they suspend Brady for 4 games on an offense that's $25,000 on the first offense, but they completely disregarded the report and punished the Patriots anyway. You want to know why they punished the Patriots? It wasn't because of the Deflategate. It was because they felt that they didn't punish them well enough for Spygate. So they decided, oh, we're going to fine this team $1 million, the highest fine in NFL history, and then you won fine. Friggin'. And we lost our first round pick and our 4th round pick. Again, on something that's a $25,000 offense, and disregarding the report that exonerated the Patriots of any wrongdoing in the first place. That it was just all on Tom Brady. But the Patriots got punished anyway. And y'all say Roger Goodell's a competent commissioner. Man, that dude he needed to be fired back in 2009. I've been asking for this dude's head for freaking 7 years, going on 8 years now. He needs to be fired. Anyway, so he goes through that, fights through court, wins his appeal, gets to play the 2015 season, had a great season. Unfortunately, it didn't end well because we lost at Denver, which is probably the Achilles heel of Tom Brady at this point of his career. He always plays not that great in Denver. But people seem to forget, while they were treating that game like we were blown out by 21 points, if Gostowski doesn't miss that extra point, we would have won the game. You know what I mean? So it's like, I don't get it. Anyway, so he plays through the 2015 season. Then he gets suspended again, and then chooses not to fight it anymore. Takes the 4-game suspension, which of course spirals Jimmy Garoppolo to become the starting quarterback, and the Patriots to draft Jacoby Brissett. I believe it was in the second round of the draft. I believe it was the second round. I might be wrong about that, but I'm pretty sure it was the second round. Anyway, so Garoppolo plays great. He gets injured. In comes Brissett. He plays pretty well. They build a game plan around him to go up against Houston. Plays great. We blow out the Texans. I think we held them scoreless too, if I remember right. And then doesn't play that well against Buffalo, but then again, we didn't really play well as a team against Buffalo, which resulted in our 3-1 record. In comes Brady. People thinking that he's going to be rusty. Man, he was ready to play. He demolished the Browns. Only got sacked one time. Comes back off to a slow start against Cincinnati, but in the second half gets it rolling. All of a sudden, he beats them 35-17, where the score is only 10-7 at the half. But so back to what the actual point is of this video. I investigated this for about an hour, maybe a little longer, seeing where, because I actually got into an argument with somebody, and they said, "Oh, anybody who supports Trump is a horrible person," yada yada yada. And I'm sure, I'm sitting here trying to figure out where was the support by Tom Brady, because of course, as we all know, Brady walked out of an interview when the question about Donald Trump came up, and obviously Tom, being the great team guy that he is, didn't want to stir up any drama, didn't want to didn't want to add any more distractions. That's the whole basis of this. He didn't want to add any more distractions, so he walked away. And then a few days later, he was on WEI, and he gave his interview, his perspective of what his relationship with Donald Trump is. And I listened to it, and he was just talking about how they were good buddies on the golf course. Trump being on the sideline, the Patriots games, ties into his relationship with Robert Kraft as well, if he's allowed on the sideline, yada yada yada. But I didn't hear anything about him supporting Donald Trump for president, or him supporting him in any kind of way or fashion, or him saying that he was okay with anything Donald Trump said. All he was spoken about was the professional relationship that he has with Donald Trump. Like he used friend, but I think he meant to say acquaintance more likely, because the way he was describing it, it seemed like a business freaking acquaintance to me. You know what I'm saying? It isn't like they hang out all the time. They only play golf together. So obviously him and Trump ain't great friends, and everybody's fishing for something that's not there. They just want something to have Brady become more of a distraction for the team, other than the fact that he's 2 games off of coming back from a 4-game suspension over something that lasted over 18 months. Why in the world would he give the media any sort of ammunition at that point, so that way he becomes an even bigger distraction to the team after DeflateGate is pretty much dead now, because there's nothing left to fight. Brady served his 4-game suspension. It's over, done with. Why would he? Why would he open up that can of worms and try to become more of a distraction to his team than he already was? That makes no sense to me. So of course, obviously, he's not going to open his mouth about his relationship about a business partner that obviously supports the Patriots, and he's not going to go ahead and mess that up just on personal opinions that is coming from him. Obviously, he's not going to do that. So obviously, the way I see it, Brady, while he's a business acquaintance, I don't think they're really friends. And I'm pretty sure that he has a significant problem with the way Donald Trump tried to say that the way he talks about women and grabbing their what's is, locker room talk. I'm pretty sure that he completely 100% disagrees with that. He just can't say anything right now because he doesn't want to become a distraction for his team, even though the Patriots are the best team in terms of playing with noise and everything like that. But he does not want to become an unnecessary distraction. The media was just fishing for something that they weren't going to get. So anyway, that's I guess that's pretty much it. My take on Aaron Rodgers, my take on Tom Brady about this whole thing with Donald Trump. Aaron Rodgers, did Deflategate ruin Aaron Rodgers? I don't think so. I think he's just not as good as he once was, and because of the fact that he's getting older, and what made him great was being able to escape the pocket and make miracle plays. He can't necessarily do that anymore. So I think that's really what comes down to in terms of his demise, in terms of why he's had a bad couple years now. And that's my take on Brady with his whole thing with Donald Trump. So thank you everybody for coming in and listening to me speak for however long this video is. I'm not sure. But if you enjoyed the video, leave a thumbs up. Leave your opinions in the comment section below. I would love to read the comments, see what y'all take is on this whole Aaron Rodgers thing, this whole Tom Brady thing. You know what I'm saying? Try to be sensible too, because I can identify a hater right out the gate. You know what I'm saying? I'm just gonna scroll right by you. But anyway, like I said, the update about my JB Rants official start of the series will be on November 4th, which I believe is the first Friday of November, if I remember the date right. So expect that to happen at that point, and it will be on what has transpired so far in the NFL. Um, that'll be the end of week 8, the start of week 9, and yeah, it'll be about the NFL. I know that I said in my previous update video that it will be on new Power Rangers movie, but I feel that since the Power Rangers movie isn't coming out anytime soon, I could go ahead and hold that off until episode 2 of the series. So episode 1 will be about the NFL through week 8, and then episode 2 will be about the Power Rangers movie. So again, have a great day, everybody. Continue to stay blessed, and as always, this is your boy GP Martial Law signing out. Peace.